What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nick Castle. For those of you who do not know me, I am a business owner. I am a project manager full-time. I am a pastor. I am a husband to a beautiful wife, and I am a father of 3 little children. And we live out here in Los Angeles, California, where my family and I relocated at the beginning of 2020, literally to start a church in the heart of Los Angeles. You can look us up, Ramp Church Los Angeles. But since coming out here, the Lord has really opened up my eyes, and He has really unlocked some things in me that I didn't even know was there. For example, creativity. Literally 2 years ago, if you were to ask me, what's my creative, whatever the case may be, I would have told you that I'm not a creative person. I've literally said those words out of my mouth so many times over the years that I'm not a creative person. I'm more intellectual. I'm more analytical. Like, I want to look at the facts. I want to look at the data. And that never really leaves room for faith to work, to be honest with you, because I was always just it's about the numbers. It's about the numbers. All of my moves have to be very calculated. I wasn't the type that just do things spontaneous and without a plan. But very often the things that God calls you to do requires you to get rid of your plan. And that's what we did moving out here. All the plans we had regarding what a church plant would look like and all that went right out the window with the pandemic, of course. And so those were some hard times, but I'm so grateful because the Lord has blessed our church. He's blessed our business. He's blessed our jobs, literally every aspect of our lives. And so right now, I believe my family is experiencing the harvest of all the seeds we have sown in obedience over the course of the past few years, and just walking in total sacrificial obedience to God. And so I believe that's why my business has been so blessed. I heard about this thing called UGC last summer, right? In June 2023, I heard about UGC, that's user generated content, right? I was like, man, I'm always looking for a side hustle. Moving to California, everybody got a side hustle. They got a side business, right? Just trying to live. I tried it out and found some rather quick success, to be honest with you. People, they have blamed it on the color of my skin. There's been others who've blamed it on the fact that because there's not a lot of male UGC creators, it was easier for me to just get to the top. But I truly believe, like, out of all that stuff, out of all the reasons people have given regarding why I found success so quickly, I truly believe that the number one reason is because of God. It's because of my relationship with Jesus. It's because I put Him center in everything I do. And before God took me on this journey in business, I've always had this tension, this struggle, trying to figure out how I could bring my beliefs, my relationship with Jesus, and how that can overflow and merge with business. You know what I mean? Like, without them having to be two completely distinct, separate things. And I'm just so grateful that the Lord has allowed me to walk this journey and to live it out and to see it. And so what we need now is more Christian business owners who are sharing, like, the reasons for their success was because of the practices that's rooted in biblical principles. And I'm a living witness that the Lord has blessed my business. Like, I've only been doing this about, the first time I received a payment for what I do in content creation was September 2023. And since then, I've made close to 150K in 15 months, in 15 or 16 months. And that's nobody but God, right? And so with this channel, I'm going to start showing some of these principles that I've used, some of these biblical principles and things of that nature. But there's this passage that has really been on my heart. And every time I read it, it's just a reminder of the Lord's faithfulness and how He blesses those who obey Him, right? And not obey Him with contingencies, just obey Him without any plan Bs. And so this passage, it just reminds me of, like, our move from Dallas to Los Angeles. Like, had we not been obedient and doing what God said, moving from Dallas, selling our house, leaving our jobs, leaving every part of stability that we worked so hard to build in Texas, had we not left all of that to do what God said, we would not be experiencing this blessed season that we're in today. And so recently, the Lord has really been dealing with me on Abram, Genesis chapter 12. And I just feel like what I'm experiencing in my life right now It's a result of just some sacrificial obedience. And I'm going to read this passage to you, and then we're going to jump into it. It says, Genesis 12:1, the Lord said to Abram, go from your country, from your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. So here God is saying, like, I have this place for you. I have this designated place for you, a purpose place for you. I have a calling on your life. But in order for you to see what it is I'm talking about, you're going to have to leave behind what's familiar. And we don't really like this. We don't like to step into the unfamiliar. And even when it comes to business and your entrepreneurial endeavors, it's like some of you, there's a level of scaling that God is calling you to walk into, but you've been holding back. You've been talking yourself out of it. And I know, because that's me too. Like, there's so much God has placed in my heart and in my mind, vision he's given me, but it's going to require me to take another step in faith. Like, I took one step of faith to get here, but it's going to take another step of faith to get to that next level that God is calling me to go to. It's going to require me to leave behind what I've gotten familiar with at this level, because when you marry familiarity, you're not postured to receive more. And so I just love this. Like, God doesn't even tell Abram where he's going to go. He just says, go. And as you're going, I'll show you where you go. So I'm not going to tell you where to go right now. All I want you to know right now is you've got to leave behind what's familiar. You got to leave behind family's expectations. You got to leave behind what you grew up in. You got to leave all that behind. And then as you're going, as you're taking one step after another in obedience, I'm going to show you the land that I have for you. And this is powerful because many of us, we want to see it before we take the step. We want to see it before we obey. We want to have the whole plan from A to Z figured out before we take this leap of faith. But I believe the word for 2025 for your household, for your business, it's a word I'm applying to myself as well, is go. Like, do all of it. Do everything God is calling you to do. So execute whatever it is God is calling you to execute in this season. I'm going to share with you what my pastor and mentor always shares with me. Do it afraid until fear leaves. Do not allow fear and the fear of failure to talk you out of everything God is calling you to accomplish going into 2025. God tells Abraham to go, and if he goes, then he will bless him. And so some of us are praying for blessings and we're looking for blessings, but it's literally directly connected to your obedience. And that's also for the business and the next level of your business that God has placed on the inside of you. There are levels to this thing. There's levels to success. There's levels to being an entrepreneur. Just don't get comfortable, right? 2025, we're breaking out of comfortability because I want you to possess everything that God is calling you to possess. And more than another mentorship, more than paying for another class, more than this and that, it's really going to come with just some serious, intentional obedience. And sometimes, I know I've been there before as well, we try to make our obedience in our business something completely separate from like our personal lives and things of that nature. But no, business is also a calling. Entrepreneurship, that's a calling by God. And because he's equipped you with the skills, the ability, and everything necessary to actually be successful in this thing, because he's equipped us with that, we owe him our obedience as well. And so don't settle for anything less. We literally limit ourselves when we choose not to obey. When we look at this text in Genesis chapter 12, Abraham's blessing was connected to him leaving behind what was familiar and going somewhere that was unknown to him. So are you willing to be uncomfortable to see the blessing that God has for you? That's a question we got to wrestle with. That's a question I wrestle with as well. And you may know this by now, but at the end of the day, we just have to get very, very comfortable being uncomfortable. Growth does not come out of comfortability. It never was intended to. You only grow when you're stretched. And being stretched and the stretching is so necessary for development. So I know I've been rambling for a little bit, and also I've been in like 3 different locations filming this video. I was out running some errands with my wife and didn't want to interrupt our conversations to continue filming. So I just waited till I got home. All right. So I'm done with all the super edits for content and all that type of stuff. You're just going to get this real authentic conversational style content going forward. And I feel like this is more the content that I'm supposed to be creating, just talking through some of the principles that I'm learning as I'm continuing in my journey as well as a business owner, as a husband, as a father, and all these things, juggling all these hats. And so I want to be able to process some of that stuff out loud. And so I think that's what this channel is really going to be about. As you can see, my YouTube channel is super new. So as I'm posting, I'm just going to continue figuring things out and getting better with each video. But I'm kind of done with the polished with the polished look and the editing out all the flaws. I'm just going to leave it in. You know what I'm saying? I'll just do some jump cuts here and there when I was stumbling over my words. But if you are a Christian entrepreneur, or you're just looking to maybe hear and learn about some biblical principles and how they can benefit your business, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be getting into it a lot more. All right. Peace.